Here we have a rather large issue, and that is where the seat is located. Some people may wonder, but this seat over here is perfectly fine and it can fit, but the drive shaft goes a little bit to the right due to the crown wheel on the rear axle is to the right side, and that makes it a little bit easier to fit. And if you check here, you will see that I have bent this inwards to make it fit properly. I will do roughly the same thing on this side and bend this inwards and get it over there. But at the same time I need to have some kind of space between the drive shaft and the seat and everything. So I need to take that into measurement as well. First I will start with the upper piece here that makes this solid, and then I need to make something underneath here as well. So let's start with this one.
And I start with removing the gear stick. As you can see, I have to tap down the bushing a little bit to get it out. And what I do here is just make sure that this part is actually solid and doesn't move when I start working on the side and remove it. Just tacking it into place. Off with the seat again and remove it. I'm not going to use this anyway, so what I'm doing now is actually creating new brackets for the seat to mount on. Just because I do want to get rid of the functionality of moving the seat back and forth on the passenger seat. When you cut all four sides on their own, you tend to get it pretty straight. And I don't have any specific tool to cut them, I'm just using the angle grinder for it. And here we have it. I'm marking out where the holes for the seat should be, using the old parts for that. It's pretty simple and it worked out great. It's quite a few holes to drill. Some oil. And let's drill it. But as you can see, this drill wasn't that good. I switch over to a tap drill instead. And I have used this drill a lot now, but it still holds up pretty good. But I should get myself a real bench drill instead, because that would help out a lot when it comes to stuff like this. Filing it a little bit so the bolts do fit perfectly, and test fitting it. And it did fit on first try. Seat back again. It's time to mark out where I'm going to have the brackets underneath. Marking and marking and marking. I tend to say measure twice and cut once, and that's actually true when it comes to this. Here it's done, the first piece. Some quick tacks and then it's into place. The next one was roughly the same size, so it was just to cut another one and add it as well. Seat back again, and it fitted rather well. Here you can see that I have done some brackets. I didn't include this in the video because it sucked, and those brackets on the side I didn't like them, so I actually removed them and attached this longer one instead to the frame. That's one thing I have to do then, is actually to have holes from the underside instead, and drill some holes in the floor, but that's fine. And as you can see, the bracket I welded on to the outside just for holding it into place. Meanwhile I moved this one. And I'm tacking it into place with a MIG welder instead, because it goes a little bit faster. And I was pretty tired of... Yeah, it's the fourth attempt to get proper seat mountings, I would say. Removing that again, cleaning everything up. Screwing the seat back into place on the real holders.
The thing now is that we have those spaces there that I do want to keep. So basically, to not have to fiddle around with those, I'm going to weld them in place.
And the MIG welder doesn't heat up as much as the TIG welder do, so I use that instead.
And after everything is tacked into place, and I'm actually happy with the location, even though, for instance, you can see that this one is higher than that one. I cannot do much about it because that's how the seat is constructed. I will now be welding this into place and at least tack it a little bit more, and when that's done I will come back and grind off the edges and smoothen those edges out. I have this one here that is a little bit short, so I need to add something here, or I'm going to add a new bracket on this side. I have not decided yet. So
Removing rest of the brackets. Marking out roughly where to cut this piece. This is going to be bended, and I'm bending it in two places to fit around the seat, and that's just to make space in it. Some holes, and making sure that I can mount the gear stick directly to this centerpiece. Threaded with normal M6, I think. Unfortunately, during this making I actually destroyed one of my angle grinders, so I only have one now. And that makes it a little more difficult to switch between cutting wheel and grinding wheel.
next step is to attach this gear ring here with the holders on the side. So you need to make some minor smaller brackets in between there. And that's pretty simple, just cutting out the small. And here we have the two pieces that are going to be fit. This is a little bit tricky, so let's see if I can manage to get them there. Hold them at the same time, of course. And now it's time to do the cross member that is underneath here. And let's start with that. That's a little bit trickier because we don't have much space here. So let's see how we're going to tackle it. But I think we put one of the pieces here instead. And one piece behind here. Because here we have a lot more space and here we have some more space as well.
Time to remove the seat once more. For some reason I think I have removed and added it too many times now, and I'm not done yet. The brackets are done. Simply cut up and bent into different shapes and now tailed into place. It was a little bit awkward to sit like that, and well, because I didn't really see what I was doing.
And now the only thing left is the crossbar across there. Those two sides are a little bit different, as I have said, so it's not just to copy it, because that won't work.
Measuring them up all by themselves and then cutting them out. Still using the angle grinder for this kind of work.
After some more grinding, I have this down here. I have this piece that goes in here. And I also have this piece that goes up here. And I think that's basically it to get this side pretty much done.
Removing the holders for gear stick and welding it a little bit better. Also going over some of the seams. I tend to take one seam on each side and go back and forth. But at the same time it's important to remember which one you have done, because it gets very very hot, so you will burn yourself if you go back to an old one. When I should be going and do the rest of weld, I'm actually going to put up the car on the hoist instead, because that's a little bit simpler, and I can also, if I remove the engine and gearbox, I can turn it on the side and weld it that way. As you can see, I have to jump around a little bit to get to each place.
And that's it, I think. I'm not going to solder weld this whole car or everything around here today on this video, because that will be very very boring. So I will leave that for now, because just welding this will take 1 to 1.5 hours when it comes to TIG welding it. Since I have not gotten the rest of the part for this car, I think I'm going to leave it here. And I have to get this episode up at least, so you get to see something. I'm very happy with the mount on this side, on the chairs here. I think this will be very very solid and work very very well. So I'm going to do something like this on the other side as well. So let me show you that. As you can see, if you walk around on this side, I have been using angle iron brackets instead. So I will modify that and make that work roughly the same as the underside, but that's not anything for the video. So, and I think this tunnel here would be fairly good as well. There is still some playroom in between, and that's needed, especially on this side here and everything. There need to be incorporated some protection for this shaft afterwards. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and it was final time to get some work done on the car. In the next episode there will be some more content, I hope. I have ordered tons of stuff for it, but nothing have arrived yet. So let's see what the next episode will be about. So I would say thank you all guys for watching. See you next time. Bye.
Let's go.